What's up, everybody? We are officially live. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sam with Golovey Real Estate. And if you guys are watching us, we're currently streaming to YouTube and to Facebook. If you're looking for a better, higher definition quality, please visit our channel, Sam Golovey, Sacramento Real Estate on YouTube, as that's going to be the best way to stay in contact with this moving forward. Just a reminder, we go live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. talking about the best of the best in the Sacramento area, talking about Sacramento real estate and the new up-and-coming things around the Sacramento area. So welcome again to the show, guys. If you guys have been watching, last week we even did a big topic, should I buy or rent in the Sacramento area? So feel free to see that one in the link below. And watch that and stay up to date with us on different things, because specifically in that video, I also broke it down on what's going on in the market, what's going on in the housing market as far as purchasing or even renting. But today I have an interesting new topic that I want to bring up. I have been getting a lot of interest specifically on brand new homes. And if you guys have ever seen my channel before, I review a lot of the brand new homes in the Sacramento area. So a lot of questions have been of what are the pros, what are the cons of purchasing a brand new home? You know, as you may have heard before, a fresh car, clean smell is the best. And I really think you get that with a brand new home. You get that clean smell. No one's been in it. But of course, there are a lot of costs associated with purchasing a brand new home as well. So today, I'm also going to be uncovering this topic, but I'm also going to have two special speakers with me that are highly associated with the process of maybe building or even buying a brand new home. So stick around for my special guests. They'll be hopping on later on in the show. So I want to jump to it. If I'm looking to buy a brand new home, where do I even start? What parts of Sacramento are giving access to brand new homes? Because as you guys know, not new development is everywhere. Of course, Sacramento is pretty established now. So there are definitely older communities where not too many new builds are going on. So I'm going to highlight a few of the main areas that I'm seeing that are producing a ton of new homes to give you some options for shopping. And of course, you can reach out to me and my team. I have my information down below. We'd love to send you some options with purchasing a brand new home, or even considering what it looks like, what are the costs associated with. I'd be happy to send you some more info on that. All right, so let's hop into it. I wanted to review a new community that I've had my eyes on, and this one is actually in West Roseville. If you've been paying attention at all to some of the new builds in the area, West Roseville is really an up-and-coming area that's coming up that is continuously producing brand new homes, especially right now. But there's a new community just off Blue Oaks, a little bit down yonder on the west side, and I wanted to bring it to attention. This is a new community called Winding Creek. So I'm going to bring it up on the map here. You'll see here that Winding Creek is off way to the left of the main Roseville hub. You can see I circled it right there. But the beautiful thing about this new master plan community is, as you can see, they're highlighted within the circle. There is a brand new middle school and a brand new high school that just opened up. So as you can tell, there's going to be amazing new schools there. And I circled over to the right. That's kind of where the intersection happens between Highway 80 and Highway 65. In my opinion, that's kind of the center, the hub of Roseville. If you're from out of town, don't really know too much about kind of what's going on, I would say that's kind of a main intersection of shopping. You got the Galleria Mall, all the kind of intricacies that come with Roseville. If you've been following the show at all, if you live in Rocklin, Lincoln, Loomis, or anywhere beyond, Roseville tends to be the main shopping center or the main hub for most people looking to move into the area. So even if you move on the outskirts, you still end up in Roseville somehow as far as shopping is concerned. So this Winding Creek is an awesome new community. It's a little bit further out. It's still kind of honestly naked. Not too many builds are happening yet, but they're starting to trickle in. And I actually just got a client in contract on one last Wednesday, I believe. And they have some really quick move-in ready homes with still really attractive pricing. And that's why I'm bringing it up as one of the first places to buy a new build is going to be West Roseville, particularly Winding Creek. And if you can see here, this is kind of the quick plot map, if you can see on the bottom left, there's really 3 new developers that are mainly running the show here right now. You have Meritage Homes, a development called Trek. You also have Firefly by K. Hovnanian. Those are both starting in the low to mid 600s. But really, the one of value, in my opinion, that I got my eyes on is the lower one, The Wilds by D.R. Horton. So you can see there on the bottom, it's kind of that green highlighted rectangle. You won't believe me. A brand new home under $500,000 right now. Brand new home under $500,000. And I'm not even talking about those patio style homes that are just squinched together. I'm talking about a regular size home, anywhere from about 1,550 all the way up to 1,900 square feet. You can get a 3-bed, 2-bath or a 4-bed, 3-bath full-size home and still get it right around 500 grand. So this is a community that I would keep my eyes on. I am keeping my eyes on. Actually, I have considered maybe even purchasing there. So this is a really awesome community. If you guys are looking for something affordable, again, reach out to me. I'll send you the link and all the info on that. So another great area, if you're looking for a brand new community, I would highly recommend Folsom. Folsom is just rocking right now. You have 2 amazing new communities there. You have Folsom Ranch and you have Russell Ranch. These 2 communities are just south of the Highway 50 that runs east through Folsom. And it's a brand new community expected to build over 11,000 new homes. 1,000 acres of nature preserve is going to be all around the community. And then also there's going to be, I believe, 120 acres of new parks and over 30 miles of hiking, biking, and walking trails. So if you're a person that's into the outdoors after work, want to do a quick bike ride or do a little walking or hiking, this is going to be that sort of community. And in this community, you have homes starting in the mid 600s with builders such as Lennar and KB Homes around there if you want something a little bit more petite. But if you want to go bigger and grander, you have homes with views all the way to downtown Sacramento in Russell Ranch specifically. But those are going to be pushing that 1 million, 1.2 million mark if you decide to go that route. Now, another awesome community that I would consider is going to be Elk Grove. One thing with Elk Grove, though, is it's kind of got a name already to being one of the hottest areas that people are moving into. In fact, it is probably one of the hottest cities that most people are moving into right now. With that comes the pressure. With that comes the multiple offer situation. But there's still a ton of brand new development going on out there. One thing now, if you're looking to move there into a home about 2,500 square feet or more, you're already looking at a price point in the mid 700s, I would say. Probably realistically pushing the 800s once you factor in all the costs, if you're going to upgrade the home. And so that's what I would expect, a 700 to 800s mark and up at this point in the newer parts of Elk Grove. Okay, another area that I would consider would be 12 Bridges. This is basically in Lincoln, California, just north of Rocklin and the Roseville area. Awesome new developments out here. I mean, a ton. You can get a lot of bang for your buck. You could still get brand new homes for just about in the low 600s, sometimes even in the 500s to start here. What's great about 12 Bridges is you're still connected to an awesome school district. And there's a bunch of new development coming into the area around there. So I'm really excited about 12 Bridges. I think there's going to be a lot of future there, especially now that they're building a brand new high school as well, right off Highway 65. And of course, you can get into the luxury market there as well. You have some homes, which I have one closing next month, and you're still kind of pushing around the 1 million mark after upgrades in that area. If you wanted to go more of a premier market, you have that in that area. Another awesome area that I would check out would be Rocklin. You have KB Homes and you have also an awesome community, actually not far from my office here. You can still get homes in the mid 500s and the low 600s in Rocklin, brand new. Yes, it's possible. Call me, we can make it happen. But of course, Rocklin still carries that name where you have luxury. And if you guys have been watching my videos, we did a few videos on Skyline. I've linked them down below. Amazing views, some of the best in the Sacramento area. And you're looking at 1.2, really more pushing like 1.5 million, if that's kind of the market that you want to be in. But you can see downtown on a clear day. And I honestly think there's going to be a huge push for that area in future years to come. Another awesome community, if you want to go a little bit more affordable, and closer to the highways, closer to the downtown, closer to the airport, I would highly consider Natomas. Even right now, Lennar just came out with a master plan community. It's called North Lake or Lennar at North Lake. There's some lakes that they've built in over there, and they've got kind of all over the board pricing, depending how high end you want to go. One thing that I would consider here is that the kind of the feel of the neighborhood, in my opinion, is not developed all there yet. It's still got a long way to go. It's still pretty bare bones. So that's something that I would consider as far as moving over there. But you do have access to the airport. So if you're a commuter, that might be very interesting for you. Now, I want to jump into, before I bring on my special guest here, I want to jump into maybe the special, the intricacies of purchasing a brand new home. What are the pros of purchasing a brand new home? Well, first of all, I would say the warranty. The first and foremost thing as far as purchasing a brand new home is going to be the warranty, because you have a 10-year structural warranty on the home, which is going to help you a lot with giving you peace of mind and never really worrying about your foundation or the rafters or the trusses going out on the home. So that's going to be a huge thing. Also, most builders will give you like a cosmetic 1-year warranty on the home. So if there's ever any cracks in the walls, they missed a spot, something didn't get painted, there's a chip somewhere, they're going to take care of you for the most part. Okay. So there are some pros with purchasing brand new. Of course, brand new, no one's ever lived in it. You don't really have to do anything to it. It's turnkey. Really, you can expect for the next few years, you're not going to touch anything on that house besides any custom things you'd like to do to it. I just want to do a quick check. Are you guys hearing me all right? If you can drop it in the chat, give me a thumbs up, spam the chat, as a lot of people like to say. Let me know if it's sounding good, because on my end, it's getting a little pixelated. So I want to make sure you guys are hearing everything. All right. So moving forward, those are some of the pros with purchasing a new home. Another thing is that you end up being in communities that are obviously newer and are producing newer schools. So with having newer schools, obviously the ratings are higher. You got lower crime rates typically. So there are some factors with that. Another great thing is that home insurance is substantially less on a brand new home. I think Sean, that I'm having coming on to the show in a little bit, he actually quoted me, it was about 40 or 50 bucks a month for home insurance, which is amazing. Another thing is most of the homes are coming with fire sprinklers now. So you can be rest assured that if a fire breaks out, it's going to be put out fairly quickly. All right. So I want to talk about some of the costs of purchasing a brand new home. These are the negatives, in my opinion. Some of the negatives are going to be, I would say, the Mello-Roos. One of the biggest costs is the Mello-Roos. And most people ask me, what is Mello-Roos? Well, I typically give them a quick version, but I want to basically show you what an actual definition would be. So it's basically districts put together and allow communities to raise money for local projects despite the restrictions of Proposition 13, which is a property tax cap. So basically, Mello-Roos is, in my opinion, like an overall bill, an overall debt that needs to be paid off by the community. And so typically home builders will put that debt onto the new residents coming into the community, and it's split basically by the residents living there. What does this pay for? It pays for the new schools, the new fire station down the street, the new cop station down the street, sometimes even streets, curbs, lights, things like that. So Mello-Roos are a good thing because they help more development come into the community, but they're also a negative thing because if they're really high, you're the one taking on the cost of that. So a lot of people stay away from new homes because of those costs. But never fear, there are some that are definitely more affordable than others. You can expect in the Sacramento area on most new builds that I'm seeing about $200, $250 a month. Some definitely go much higher than that, and some are much lower than that. But that's an average that I'm seeing in the market right now. All right, so that's one of the costs. Another thing that I would consider would be basically the undevelopment. A lot of the times, like I was mentioning Winding Creek earlier, the community hasn't built out yet. So you're still dealing with a lot of the construction noise, a lot of the dust and the dirt in the air, a lot of noise, a lot of random people driving through. So that's going to probably happen for the first couple of years, especially if you're coming into the beginning stages of a community. I would highly take that into consideration if that's going to bother you or not. Another thing is the solar. I would highly think about if you're going to be purchasing or leasing the solar. One thing most builders are doing is giving you the option. So you can lease it for on average of sometimes like $50 a month, maybe a little more than that. Or you can purchase it. Sometimes I'm seeing that cost anywhere from $13,000 to $16,000, all the way up to $25,000 on the bigger homes. So be cautious of that and decide what's best for you, whether you want to lease or purchase that system, because now it's required by California code as of 2020. But one thing with that is that it is going to save you on your energy bill, and it's going to be added on to your overall home loan. So if the home is $500,000, depending how the builder sets it up, typically they'll charge you that extra solar cost on top, and then it'll be worked into your overall home loan. So if it doesn't bother you too much, I'd probably go that route and just purchase it, because it's easier to sell the property without the lease in place. Okay. So as far as purchasing a new home, another thing that I would consider as far as the cost is the lot premium. Lot premiums can be insanely expensive depending on the community you're going to be buying in. For instance, you can get a lot premium basically free if it's just a standard neighborhood, standard backyard. But if you're going to be going with the views, luxury living, as I was talking about earlier, I've seen some of the lot premiums go anywhere from $50,000, $60,000, all the way up to as high as $400,000. Yes, that's correct. $400,000 for a lot premium. Of course, that's going to be in that million and up price point. But if you want the views, if you want the pristine, the best of the best, you're going to be paying for that. So just keep in mind how they bring into the cost of having a lot premium when you're purchasing your home or looking at a specific lot that you want to buy on. Okay. Another thing that I have a studio, but I want to bring on a special guest. I have a awesome person that's going to hop on. I have Stanley with Home Improvement Studio, and I'm bringing him on to the show right now.
Hey, Sam.
How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good, good, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be on here.
Sorry about that technical difficulties I just had. I don't know what was going on. Everyone's like, what is going on? This guy's mimed out.
Yeah. Sam gets his mic going on. I have a store here in Folsom, California, and we've been open for about 5 to 6 months, since December, January. I've started another countertop company 5 years ago, and then realized that we can definitely improve on doing full house remodels, which includes countertops, floors, and cabinets. So doing so, our parents, we pretty much got like 3 houses in the past couple of years where we remodeled and then flipped. So that kind of gave me the experience to be able to do what I do today. And we opened up the store here in Folsom and have a bunch of different samples, flooring, countertops, cabinets. We got Cambria, Silestone, Caesar Stone, Johnson hardwood, a whole bunch of different hardwood samples. So yeah, you guys are definitely welcome to come out here and visit us. And if you have any questions remodeling, we can definitely.
Okay, awesome. Well, if like Stanley just kind of gave a breakdown, basically they started out as kind of family business, basically running and rolling now. They have a legitimate studio in Folsom, right? Right off East Bidwell, is that right?
Yep, right in front of Target off of East Bidwell.
Right in front of Target off East Bidwell. I've also put down their information below. So Stanley specializes also in flooring, cabinets, and countertops. Actually, he helped me out really big last minute yesterday and cut a hole in a granite countertop that we needed on a home that's basically having to have the keys over to the new buyer by tomorrow. So I really appreciate that, Stanley. This guy is going to take care of you, and he'll just come out and do it for you guys. Obviously not for free, but I'm saying that he has your back. And I really appreciate that, Stanley.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely take very good care of all the customers that I have, and customer service is the biggest thing I focus on as a business owner, and definitely make sure that all my guys and everyone working on any project, and it gets done the right way, and with good service and good quality, good craftsmanship. So
yeah,
that's something that I
actually
really focus on.
No, that's true, because I actually referred you already to a few of my clients who wanted to do hardwood installs on their kind of more premier properties, and they all had good things to say about you. They said that your pricing was definitely fair. If not, you can match or beat most people because you guys are so competitive and kind of boutique and can kind of get things done pretty quickly.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're
So,
very competitive with all the different companies out there, and yeah.
So the reason I brought you on, because I've had you also look at some of the new builds that I've been selling, and we are always like in this, you know, frustration really, because when purchasing brand new homes, some of the costs, what I was talking about earlier, some of the costs of purchasing a brand new home can be so expensive. Sometimes I see people, upgrade their home like 40, 60,000, but I've seen some people even push 200,000, 300,000 on a brand new home to get the upgrades in. And a lot of the times these builders in the area are really charging a premium, especially for like flooring, cabinets, styles of cabinets, and also types of granite or countertops. Any insight on that, and maybe any recommendations for somebody that's maybe buying a brand new home? How would you approach it?
Well, Sam, it just depends on your style and what the builder offers. I've had a couple of experiences with my past clients where they went through a builder, built a brand new home, and they had me come in and rip out brand new carpet, brand new vinyl, brand new laminates, because they just didn't like the color that the builders are offering. And usually with building, you pretty much can only pick from the categories that they offer. So it definitely depends. It's definitely, I feel like it would be more cost effective to be able to buy a home and remodel it yourself, because then you get to do it and build it the exact way you want, and then you find the materials, the quality of product that you want in your home. And it all just depends on what you're really looking for.
So you think that it's still worth it to potentially purchase a brand new home, just go with the basic upgrades that the builder is including in the base price, and then maybe, have you come in after and just actually put a nice flooring for a much discounted, rate or price?
Yeah, we've actually done multiple times that in the past, where builders, put in the basic floors, and then we come in, rip it out, and then we can definitely offer a great deal and get that service done.
Yeah, and I've even offered to people before that are buying brand new homes through me. I tell them, especially if they have kids, hey, it might be worth it to go base for now. If there's some certain things that you absolutely can't live without, like for instance, the tile in the shower, and you want to do that right away and not deal with it in the future, I get that. But if it's like carpets, flooring, easy fixes that can be done in a few days, really, then I tell them go base, save the money now, move in with your kids, live 1, 2, maybe 3 years, tear those carpets up. The kids are going to throw juice on it, mess them up. Then in 2 years or whatever it is, you have someone like Stanley come in, remodel the whole thing. The house feels brand new, right? Have you ever walked into a home that just got new floors? It feels all over like it's new. You get the experience again, and boom, you save money by doing that. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think that's brilliant. Being able to buy a brand new home and just getting the basics of it with the idea that you're going to remodel it in the future. Is I've had multiple different customers reach out to me where they have actually done that exact thing. And it's brilliant because, living in the same house for a year or two, and you kind of get used to the layout, used to the things, and it becomes boring. So it's always great to change things up, and doing so in the future, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So real quick, this is a huge kind of controversy that keeps coming up. Especially right now, we have all these kind of synthetic floors coming out, or things like LVP, luxury vinyl planking. And then also you have like the tried and true, the good stuff, the hardwoods. If someone was kind of making the decision between the two, or deciding which kind of flooring to go with, maybe even laminate or the engineered stuff that's been coming out, what's kind of like the most common one that people are gravitating towards, and what are the pros and cons of some of those different flooring options?
I would say it's hard to base it just on a specific person, or in a whole category, because everyone is kind of specific. And when you remodel your home, you kind of tend to remodel it to cater to your needs and your,
Yeah.
the house that you're living in. So if you have like pets and, we're a bigger family or young kids, you wouldn't really want to put the most expensive hardwood floor because it's only going to get torn up by the pets or the kids. So a lot of people tend to, with bigger families, more, pets, they tend to do vinyl planks just because it is 100% waterproof. And it's like, I like to say, a bulletproof floor where there's, you can do almost everything to it and it will still withstand a lot of the things that a normal wear and tear wouldn't really, on a hardwood, wouldn't really occur. So when it comes to picking out your floors, I would say that the number one thing to kind of consider is the area you're living in. Like, for instance, somewhere in El Dorado, I wouldn't really consider putting any type of vinyl floors or anything just because it will devalue the house. And if you were to go sell it, it'll make it a little bit more harder because that's a market where, it's a high-end market and those houses are quite expensive. And keeping something like a hardwood or engineered wood in the home, it will definitely keep its value, if not bring it up. So I would say it really does depend on in your area and what type of family you have and what exactly what you're trying to do. But yeah, I would definitely take that in consideration. Having a lot of kids or pets, you definitely want to be do your research before you decide on a floor.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, especially being in whatever market you're in. If you're going high end, then you have to basically, I don't want to say the word sustain, but in a way like complement that and use the type of flooring that's in that area, so that definitely makes sense. Like, you're not going to use a cheap laminate on $1 million home. You want to, match the aesthetics. Because those types of buyers are paying attention
to detail.
They will walk away from a home if something is off or cheaper than it needs to be, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm sure you deal with that a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely true. A lot of the higher end homes, there's a lot of detail that goes into it that like regularly you don't really pay attention to. And it wasn't until I got into that market that I realized, like, dang, this is a whole nother field of like detail that you literally have to catch yourself. But yeah, it's definitely true. Paying attention to the little things in a home is very important when it comes to the thickness, the wear layer, whether the finish that it has. It all comes.
Sorry, cut out there. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me, Stanley? It just cut out. We're live. This is what happens. Oh, geez. All right. Well, yeah. Can you guys still hear me? Give me a thumbs up.
Welcome back, Sam.
There it is. Welcome back to the show. Guys, I'm so sorry with the technical difficulties today. Obviously, fiber internet is not doing its job, so we'll reach out to Comcast or whoever that is. Yeah, but that was really good points that you said right before it cut out. Matching the type of flooring with the type of community and area that you're in. Guys, it's been great to have Stanley on. If you're ever thinking about upgrading your home, doing some flooring, doing some new tile, wanted to get a professional opinion, reach out to Home Improvement Studio. Stanley is the guy. He's taken care of me multiple times, so I'll definitely speak on their behalf. Had multiple clients give a thumbs up and refer this guy. So, Stanley, anything else you want to say about you guys, your product, your office?
Well, Sam, just wanted to thank you again for having me on. And yeah, if you guys are ever in the area and have any questions with remodeling your home, feel free to stop on by. You can meet my team, John and Francisco. They're definitely would be able to answer any questions. Like I said, we specialize in cabinets, floors, and countertops. And we pretty much come as a package deal. So if there's any electrical involved or any plumbing involved, if we do your countertops, floors, or cabinets, we would definitely include that in the service as well and take care of you as a whole. So feel free to stop by anytime. And if you have any questions or any concerns, we would love to chat.
Awesome. Stanley, thanks so much for hopping on the show. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too.
All right, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed that so far. Stanley really broke it down on the different flooring and how to approach flooring, especially with the type of home that you're purchasing as brand new. So continuing with our topic of what are the cons, what are the costs associated with buying a brand new home, I have another special guest that I really want to jump into because this is going to be with you for 30 years. We're going to talk about mortgage, home loans especially, and I have the guy, the myth, the legend. I have SAspenlind with LRG Lending on the show today. Sean, how are you, my friend?
Sam, what's up, man? Good to see
have
you.
On. Thank you so much for waiting through all those technical difficulties.
Hopefully you can hear me. So
yeah, no, you're sounding great. And yeah, it was awesome. I know actually it's very interesting. They just so happened to work out that Stanley and you actually met yesterday on a little project, right?
Yeah. So, give you a little plug here. So Sam just helped us sell, my family sell our house. And he did an awesome job. It was smooth and easy. But I had to do some things, just the home maintenance things before we give the buyer the keys. And I called Sam, was like, hey, I need someone ASAP. And he called Stan. Stan came over. Within about 2 hours, Stan was at my house. Showed up at 6 o'clock last night, was in and out in 15 minutes, did what I needed to get done, and finished up the job. It was awesome.
And that guy is crazy because when I call him, he's like, man, I am booked with appointments. Like, I am tired. I'm like booked out for the week. And he's like, you know what? I'll be there. Just tell him I'll be there. And I was
cool.
Like, I mean, super took care of us.
Nice.
Like, that was awesome,
Super
Stanley.
cool.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I want to hop in real quick. And a lot of people talk about the cost with buying a brand new home. So typically, like when I go in with a client to buy a brand new home, they need to get pre-approved more than likely with the builder's preferred lender.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that, some people don't like it, but they're basically just trying to cross their T's, dot their I's, make sure that they're getting a approved client in contract, right?
Correct.
So typically you're dealing with the seller or the builder's preferred lender, but then you also have your lender who you should be going with, such as Sean here. And Sean is a mortgage broker here in the area, local, does a ton of our deals, actually. A ton of our clients are serviced by Sean and his team. So kind of what's the difference between maybe a lender like you, a broker like you, and someone who's kind of like an in-house or preferred lender with one of these builders?
Yeah, so the difference, kind of just my thought process goes to when you're dealing with a builder's lender, typically what's normal is you're dealing with an employee of a large mortgage company who's a loan officer there.
Right.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm sure they do a great job. But they have, if you're looking for a conventional loan, well, they have one conventional loan to offer you. Typically, what I see is that the builder's lender, I'd say 80% of the time has significantly higher rates and higher fees than someone like me as a broker can offer clients. So in regards to, me being a broker, I work with 43 different banks across the country. So when I'm running a scenario for a client, I'm literally shopping all 43 banks at once to see which program lines up the best for this specific client. Because some banks I work with are really great with conventional, but their VA is not so great, or some banks are VA heavy and their VA is amazing. And, their jumbo is not that great. So it just kind of depends on the client's needs. But I'd say, I have these conversations weekly where either a client I've already pre-approved or someone's calling me for a second opinion from a new build. They're in contract in a new build and they're pre-approved with the builder's lender. I'd say about 80% of the time, my pricing, even when they give them the $3,000 to $5,000 incentive for closing costs, even after that's factored in, my pricing and what I can offer clients because I'm a broker is better.
Yeah. So something standard that I hear a lot of, even just last week, it's pretty standard to have one of these builders. When you come in, the agent or the salesperson they have on staff automatically says to my client, hey, if you use our lender, we'll give you a $3,000 to $5,000 credit towards closing costs. Correct. Now, can I ask you, is that a simple bait and switch? Is that legit? How does that work?
I'd say 20% of the quotes I see that people send me from their preferred lender, are legit, and they have solid pricing, and they're not overcharging. But I would say 80% of those estimates I see, yes, they're dangling the carrot of $5,000 toward your closing costs, but they're also upcharging you on fees, and the rates are not competitive at all.
Really?
Yeah. So, every scenario is different, but I'd say majority of the time, it does help a client get a second opinion, because that's really what it is. It's like, hey, here's what the builder's lender is giving me, including the credit, and then go call some people and get them to, send them the loan estimate that you got, and have them plug in their numbers so you can compare apples to apples. That's what I like to tell people. And you know what? I tell people, hey, if they can get you better option than me, I'll tell you, and go with them. Right. That's great.
No, exactly.
Doesn't happen often, but I mean, truthfully, if they can do a good job and they're not overcharging you and you're getting a good deal plus the credit, that's awesome. But majority of the time, when I show apples to apples and compare what we can offer versus what they're getting, usually they switch over just because the savings is significant.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. And so with that, I mean, okay, we got the closing costs taken care of. We know that you can kind of match it, probably even beat it. And I've seen that personally multiple times, so I know this is true. But on that, as far as the closing costs, okay, those are taken care of. What can you see as far as down payment? What's typical for down payment in a market like this? What are you seeing people come to the table with on their down payment?
So, I mean, I get your question, but big picture, I mean, it all depends on the client's debt to income ratio. So if they're first-time home buyers, and they're going conventional, so say they have good credit, they qualify conventional, I mean, they could put as little as 3% down. And I think that's a big draw of going with a new build, because you're not looking at, competing against 10 offers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if this is a normal scenario, I would say the larger the down payment, the seller interprets that as, oh, they're more secure.
Yeah.
Just the way they think,
Right.
But with a new build, I mean, you could go as little as a first-time home buyer, 3% down. If you're not a first-time home buyer, then conventional requires 5% down minimum, which is still, very, very doable. But you obviously get the best terms. The more you put down, the lower your loan amount is. And then if you put 20% down or more, then you don't have to worry about any mortgage insurance. So, right now I'm seeing anywhere between 5 and 20% is actually pretty normal.
Okay, 5 to 20% down. Most people are coming to the table with you.
Yeah,
would say?
Majority. Yeah.
Okay,
and then a couple that are doing 3% down that qualify.
Yeah,
for that.
so 3.5% down on FHA is still doable.
Yeah.
Okay. And the cool thing with new builds is, like you said, you're not typically competing with a ton of offers.
It's a huge part.
Yeah. Sometimes there are builders that get a ton of demand, then they'll let you write kind of like an offer situation. But a lot of the times it's priority and based on the wait list, and you'll be paying basically whatever they're asking for or around there for the most part. You know, sometimes I've even had price reductions just depending on how it's going, how quickly they need to move the property. So different scenarios. On that, you mentioned, sometimes when people don't hit that 20% mark of down payment, there's something called mortgage insurance. Can you kind of expand on that? What can people expect as far as paying mortgage insurance?
So it's different per loan, but since we're talking more about conventional loans already, conventional loan for mortgage insurance is dictated by the client's credit mid score and their loan to value, so meaning how much they're putting down. So they'll have a higher mortgage insurance. Say their credit score is 800. And you compare 5% versus 10% versus 15%. The mortgage insurance per month will be higher with the 5% option because it's less down. Versus 10% versus 15%. So for example, just to give you a random number, pricing out today a scenario for a conventional loan, 15% down, and they're only paying $37 a month in monthly mortgage insurance. So they could put 20.
How much was it?
$37 a month.
Wow.
So what they're trying to figure out, and what we're showing them, is here's what happens if you go 20% down. Or you save that extra 5% and you're paying another $37 a month.
Yeah, that could make sense for somebody who needs some cash, especially moving on a new house.
Exactly.
Typically
And
have
wants
the
to have money
fridge.
left over. Exactly.
Yeah, you have the fridge, washer, dryer, maybe a new dining table or a new couch. Those things can
Yeah,
add up fairly quickly. So having cash on the side is always a good thing.
totally. So it's
Yeah,
different for every scenario, but with excellent credit, obviously gives you the best option, you know?
right.
FHA is a set mortgage insurance, so it's not dictated on
Okay.
credit score or loan to
Okay.
value. It's just, it
Okay.
is what it is.
Really?
So it really just depends on the client, but it is definitely becoming more common, you know, to put 10% down or 15% down with a small amount of monthly mortgage insurance and
Really?
not go for the full 20. Yeah, so that people can have, you know, reserves.
Yeah.
Maybe they invest in other things or buy new furniture, you know,
Yeah.
all that
So,
stuff.
so hearing that low mortgage insurance, I mean, that even gives me peace of mind. You know, obviously, I'm typically a proponent of, hit that 20% mark if you can, right?
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but if you need the cash on the side and you know that it's going to cost you whatever $37 a month, that's, I mean, save on a few Starbucks runs
Yeah.
and you got that money basically, and then you're sitting on the cash now, which
Yep.
the value of the dollar is worth more today. So I personally would rather have the cash now that I can go invest or spend on other things.
Yep. I just bought a house in Tennessee, and I was assuming, yeah, I was assuming that I would put 20% down. That's what I would just went into it. I thought no questions, and then I started doing all the numbers for myself,
Yeah,
and I realized, hey, 10% down with $50 a month mortgage insurance,
yeah.
I'm okay with that. You know,
I
so
mean,
now
you
I
can
have.
always throw more money down on the
You
loan if
can
you wanted to.
absolutely, you could,
Yeah,
you know, but now it made more sense for me to go that route and save that extra 10% and try to come up with buying a couple investment properties, you know.
right. No, absolutely. Okay, that totally makes sense.
So it's fun to create scenarios for people depending on their goals and needs, and really
Yeah.
just helping people understand, you know, how it all works and how it works in their favor.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's say someone is looking to purchase in this market right now, or thinking about even a resale home versus a brand new home. Is there any tips, advice, or anything that maybe they should steer clear of when purchasing a home that you're seeing in this market?
Um, you mean in referring to like things to look at a home or on the loan side?
More on the loan side,
Um,
I would say. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, right now on the loan side and getting your offer accepted against multiple offers, because we are in a strong seller's market right now.
Right.
Speed is king.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, some people are loyal to Bank of America, they bank
Right.
there, or Chase
Yeah.
or Wells Fargo, but I'm seeing those banks processing loans in, you know, 45 days. And
Wow.
so my advice to people is make sure whoever you're working with can close your loan in 21 days or less
Yes. Absolutely.
consistently to have
Yes.
it to even have a chance. You know, and not every seller wants to close that fast, but
Yeah.
majority would rather close faster than prolong it. You know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
See it every single day, you know.
Even me as a listing agent, when I have multiple offers that we're kind of choosing between, even if we need more time, a longer escrow, a rent back, things that are going to
Mhm.
delay the process regardless, I still prefer the person who can close quicker because it's more solid. It gives me more confidence. And then
Peace of
from there, I
mind.
just extend
Yep.
it.
Exactly.
So it brings a
100%
lot of
agree with you.
confidence. Yeah.
100% agree with you.
Yeah. And I'm
So
sure you've seen that a bunch of times. I've seen you guys close loans 15, 17 days, which is crazy. And so, that speed really helps. Like I have sometimes people call me like, are you guys sure you can do it this fast? And I'm like, yeah, I think we'll do it.
yeah. Yeah, and
So,
that's where it helps. You know, some banks are built for speed, you know.
right.
So definitely that's king, you know, because the seller doesn't care about the buyer's loan terms. They just want the
No,
thing closed, you know,
right.
as quickly as possible usually. So that's the number one thing I see on the loan side. Because typically when a seller counteroffers, other than trying to adjust price, they're trying to shorten the contingencies and shorten the close of escrow. So if
Mhm.
you're set up and pre-approved and ready to go, and you can close fast, it'll give you a much better chance of beating out these other offers that are on the
Mhm.
table.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of speed and loans, I also wanted to jump into a topic that I know that we kind of talked about. It's where do you think the rates are going? Where are we at with rates?
Yeah.
overall. And I wanted you maybe talk on that. I know we have kind of a graphic, so just let me know where you want me to pull that up. But
Yeah.
where do you think rates are going maybe even later this year?
So if you pull up the graph, you can put it up and
Okay.
just so people can see a visual. So the very left side of the graph is showing the average rate back from January 1975. Okay.
Mm.
And you see how it starts around a little above 9% and it goes down a little bit and then it spikes up and up. In 1983, we're looking at, close to 17% plus, crazy high rates. Well, then you follow it all the way down to January 2021. Okay. So I know it's not current to, August, but you see January 2021, we're at record low rates as of January. And here recently, we're back to those exact same record low rates. Now, daily, there's fluctuations, but right now, we're seeing some of the lowest rates in history. So you can remove that graph if you want. But when I get asked this every day, where are rates headed? I don't have the crystal ball, but I do know that inflation does not go well with low rates in mortgage.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're starting to see over the last few months inflation increasing.
Yeah.
So, and also we can't stay at record low rates forever. So I'm not saying it's doomsday that they're just going to change quickly, but I do think there's a much higher probability for rates to increase with what's going on in the economy.
Right.
And because we just can't stay here forever, than to go lower. So I don't think they're going to go any lower. I think they're going to be at a plateau for a bit, and then I think they're going to start seeing them creep up a little bit into this next year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be drastic. I hope it's not drastic, because people, it's just great for buyers right now. Yeah, prices are on the higher side because it's a seller's market, but rates are at all-time lows. So
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty incredible what people can afford.
Yeah, and so I have this conversation a lot with buyers, especially in the market. They're like, well, you know what? If prices dip, then it's going to be a better time to buy. I'm like, yeah, but you have to understand those are negatively correlated. So when one goes up, the other goes down. When one goes down, the other goes up, right? So if prices drop, most likely interest rates are going to pump up.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I don't know the exact correlation, but I do know, like, if prices were to plateau or drop off and if rates started to rise, for me, I would rather capitalize on the lowest rates around and pay a little bit higher than I'm comfortable with versus the opposite, trying to get a deal but higher rate, because over time you're going to save a lot more money with the loan rate.
Right.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to also put together this new build quote comparison, since we're on the topic of pros and cons of buying a brand new home. I'm going to pull this up. You want to chat about it real quick?
Yeah. So this is a recent one. Hopefully everyone can see it okay. But I had a VA client reach out to me. I had pre-approved them a couple months before, and they found a new build. And they said, hey, Sean, they're requiring us to get pre-approved with their in-house lender. I said, yeah, that's totally normal. Go for it. See what they say. See what they can get you. So what they did was they sent me a loan estimate, and I put it together here in strategy number 1. Okay, so we see the purchase price is $537,000.
Yeah.
VA allows for 0 down as long as they're eligible for that. So they put 0 down payment, which is awesome for VA. VA are the best loans. Mm-hmm. Loan amount, so $537,000. The interest rate that the other company was giving them was 2.875%.
Okay.
We see their payment at $31.66 per month, and their cash back, because of their EMD, was $20,000. So their cash back was $11,719. So I plugged in my numbers. Oh, and I forgot to mention, they're giving the buyers a $5,000 lender credit.
Wow. Okay. So that's including the $5,000.
That's including everything in their quote. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I put together my scenario to make sure I could either match or beat. And, if I couldn't, I told them, hey, go with them, So I put together my scenario strategy number 2 here on the right side, Sean Aspenlind's quote, same price, same loan amount. Interest rate was 2.625 with a $3,000 lender credit. But because we don't charge any lender fees for VA, specifically VA, we waive the underwriting fee, and then we don't charge any of the other fees loan companies typically charge. Plus, we cover the appraisal at closing. That adds up to about a $2,000 savings right there. So I was able to match the $5,000 savings, get them a rate of 2.625 with the same amount of cash back, and their monthly payment was $71 lower.
Wow.
So that loan just closed last week. So this is very recent, very current. But that's the thing, is like, it really helps, and it really financially helps to get a second opinion. That way people have peace of mind to know that they're getting a good deal, or they know they have the freedom, because no one can require them to use the builder. They just have to get pre-approved with the builder's lender.
Right. Absolutely. Like, even me, I was looking at a new purchase. I told you about this. And they basically said for us to even consider you as far as purchasing a brand new build here, you're going to need to go through our lender, get a pre-approval, and then from there you can decide whether you want to go with.
Even if you're pre-approved with me, they still require.
Literally,
Yeah,
they require you regardless. So it's just, it's part of the process.
Yep.
I get it from their end, but a lot of clients get really frustrated and kind of annoyed, especially if they got already pre-approved. There's some documentation required, and everyone's busy. Nobody wants to be submitting documents at like 6 o'clock at night.
Totally.
So with that, it's really interesting to see. If you guys had just tuned in, Sean basically gave a breakdown that sometimes these preferred lenders, they give these $5,000 credits or whatever that credit is, but it's not necessarily telling the full story of what the overall costs are, and that he can usually match or beat someone in a situation like that. Is that right, Sean?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So anything else that you wanted to add on to that, as far as like the costs go with that, or things that you're seeing in the marketplace that don't necessarily add up or seem or are as they seem?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when I give people advice, I just try to help them center back to, you're paying your mortgage.
Right.
You're the one responsible. It's 100% worth it to get a second opinion. Even today, I had a guy call me who was supposed to sign his loan documents this Thursday with Rocket Mortgage, so Quicken Loans, right? He went online, he filled in his information. They're charging him $3,000 for a 3.25% rate. Wow. He called me today. Actually, you referred him to me, but he called me today, and we were able to get him 2.9% with no cost.
Wow.
So, he's ecstatic. All he did was make a phone call. He made a phone call, and he dropped his rate by over 0.25%, and he saved $3,000 by making a phone call. So, you never know. Have a conversation with multiple people in the mortgage world. Yeah. Tell them your scenario. Let them give you what they can give you, and see what happens. And make sure you ask questions. A lot of people want to, don't understand all the verbiage, or maybe don't understand all the details of the breakdown. So, have your loan officer go through all that stuff with you and really thoroughly explain it, so that you feel comfortable moving forward.
So this is a great time to do a shameless plug. You could save 15% or more on your mortgage payment if you call Sean Aspenlind today.
Oh, man.
So guys, I just want to remind you, as we're having this conversation, feel free to spam the chat. Let us know any questions that you have. Let us know maybe any concerns or things that you've seen that might be pros and cons with purchasing a brand new home. Want to answer while I have a mortgage professional online with us. Want to answer any questions you guys have. So feel free to do that. Also share this with other people on YouTube. We need to get that algorithm going. So a simple like helps us out a lot. I really appreciate that. So Sean, if I was looking to purchase a brand new build, is there anything else that you would consider or look out for that would maybe sway you from buying a new home versus a resale home?
When I think of new home, I think clean, easy. I also think high price.
Yes.
Not every time, but I'd say majority of the times you're paying the premium.
Right.
So if I'm talking as if I'm talking to my family, like, hey, with this potential house you're looking at, this new build, how long do you think you're going to be in that house? Because if it's a quick turnaround, it might be worth looking at other options to compare, maybe in that same area that aren't new built, to see what those homes go for.
Right.
But if it's going to be something that you're going to be in for at least a couple years, and if you love it, because that's the thing, if that side makes sense, the emotional, like, I love this house, I want to live here. If that partners up with the financial side, where it's a comfortable payment, because the last thing you want to do is get stretched stretched to meet your monthly mortgage. I mean, that is not a fun position, to be in. That's something that you definitely want to try to avoid. So if that all lines up, I mean, new homes are great. I think this is a good topic because it helps people understand a little bit more of what that process even looks like.
Right.
Like, why do I have to get pre-approved with this lender? Because they require it typically.
Mm-hmm. And then one thing, as far as the benefits, as far as purchasing a new home, I mean, you mentioned this to me, you do have lower home insurance, right? What are you seeing for home insurance on newer homes compared to resale homes?
So let's just use ballpark, like a $500,000 purchase price.
Yeah.
For a new home that's just recently built, I'd say the monthly home insurance ranges probably anywhere from $40 to $50 a month from what I see on average.
Yeah.
Versus a home that is not a new build, that policy typically is, I would say, maybe double. So maybe looking at 90 to $100 a month.
Wow. Okay.
Just because there's already some wear and tear, and that's how the insurance companies, price that out.
Yeah.
So you do save some per month with it being a new build.
So like almost double basically for your home insurance.
Yeah.
If you get a resale.
Yeah. On average.
Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. So that's one thing too.
Yeah.
Now, as far as taxes go, I know you guys typically take that into consideration on your monthly payment and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you see that the Mellows are typically killing the deal for people?
I usually see that it's a surprise for people because when I'm pre-approving a client, I don't know what home they're going to like. I don't know what home they're going to offer on, and each home has a different property tax rate. So the average for Placer, Sacramento, and El Dorado County is 1.25%.
Wow.
So sometimes in Roseville, I'll find a home that's not a new build and the property tax rate ends up being 1.1, or in Lincoln, maybe it's 1.3, but that's not including the Mellows. So when you add in the Mellows fees, typically that adds, anywhere from $100 to $250 extra a month. So I know that's not fun, because it's not going toward your mortgage, but it's just something to be aware of that typically new builds, not all, but typically they have some sort of an HOA or Mellows.
Yeah.
It's an additional tax, or both. They also sometimes have both. So I think that's a big thing too, because I could pre-approve a client without knowing they're going to look at a new build, and the numbers do change for sure.
Yes.
When you add in the Mellows and HOA.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's a huge change for some people,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you're paying for that, basically that new infrastructure that's coming in. I mean, if you got kids, it's paying for that new elementary school down the street.
Yep, the park,
if you look at it that way, you're kind of getting the new light and bright and that up and coming. It may be a benefit, or it may be a pill that's still potentially worth swallowing, right?
Yeah, yeah. And, like everyone has different goals and different desires,
Yeah.
I typically don't see people who are set on a new build that they love, because they typically tour a couple communities most of the time. Would you say that's accurate? Usually you're showing a couple different models.
Yeah, it depends on the style that the client wants. Some people really like that kind of like older character, cute old homes that are like 80, 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But what they sometimes don't really realize, especially as a first-time home buyer, is like those homes need a lot of work and a lot of upkeep. Even if that home has been remodeled, there's things that like plumbing that a lot of people walk over, or they might update the fixtures or certain parts of the plumbing, but not necessarily the whole system. And same with the electrical. And for a lot of people, that becomes a shock when they get into a home and they're like, oh, this is outdated, that's outdated. The kitchen, the dining area, the rooms, they look cute, they got fresh floor, whatever. But it's still
there can definitely be
components,
more prone to surprises for sure.
Yeah, like I've known people that buy these high-end homes like in East Sacramento. They're 80, 100 years old, and boom, they have a pipe burst, and they've cashed out on this home. Like, it's a really expensive home. I've heard people spending 30, 40 grand or more on plumbing. So when you take that into consideration, it's like, I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah.
But you get the area, you get the feel. I get that. But yeah, overall, typical, kind of like your median buyers, for the most part, they actually want to see some options with brand new. You know, most people like new communities. They like the feel of new. But yeah, I tell them, like, just why I'm doing this video, I tell them the cons associated. I'm like, are you willing to pay a little bit more? I mean, you are paying to be in a newer area. But sometimes if you're thinking long term, it could pay off dividends just being there. Your kids are in better schools typically. You have access to these trails, different things, new shopping centers, yada, yada, yada. So really it comes down a lot to like lifestyle. How do you want your lifestyle to be, really?
Yeah. You know, speaking of that, you said it could pay dividends, and obviously no one has a crystal ball, but one of my best friends since high school, he lives here in Roseville. He bought a new build in Roseville a little under 2 years ago for $650. He just sold last month for $875.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
So I mean, you know, those markets like, you know, Placer County, where a lot of people are moving to, you know, I don't think people need to be, you know, scared that values are just going to drop or anything. No, there's steady growth here. You know, homes values are increasing quickly. You know?
And typically where you see a lot of these new builds are in areas, especially right now with Sacramento. I mean, they're areas that have held value over time. Like for instance, if you're going to buy a new build in Rocklin, I mean, that's already a name. And zip codes that
very desirable
value regardless of the market.
People
yes,
will
they
always
might
want to live
adjust
here.
But people always will want to live there. Same with El Dorado Hills, same with Folsom, same with Roseville. These kind of names already have that value that, like, regardless of the market, it's still going to maintain its value as far as buyers' interest to want to be there because of the community and what it offers.
100% agree.
So guys, I hope you've been enjoying this so far. Sean, I really want to thank you for joining on the live show. It's been great to work with you. You're the best. You are my go-to guy. So guys, if you are ever considering getting pre-approved, getting a home loan, or potentially even doing a refi, this is the guy. This is one of the first people that I would call to make sure that I'm getting a best deal, even to price match, or just to look at a quote, or even just to have him take you out for a coffee. He's a nice guy.
To figure out, you know, what could be possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I've put Sean's info down below as well, so feel free to reach out to him. You can also reach out to me, and I could put you guys in contact if that's something that you want to do as far as refinancing or purchasing a home. Sean, thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see if I can figure this thing out. Here we go. All right, so guys, I hope you've enjoyed this so far. Some of the pros and cons with purchasing a brand new home. Really thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. Please share this channel. And we really appreciate you guys that are watching our videos. It really is helping out with the algorithm on YouTube and growing a Sacramento real estate page. Again, if you guys ever have any questions about purchasing a home or getting into a brand new home in the community, reach out to me and my team down below. I have my information down. You can schedule an appointment with me via Calendly as well at any time. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next week.